And that's what God does. Sometimes we've been locked into a piece of marble, and God brings his chisel and starts knocking things loose that are around you that reveal to you your real identity. You can't see who you are because you got hunks of marble, rock around you. And until you turn it loose, nothing happens. There are some women that haven't found their identity because they're trying to be like some other woman. But women are not a monolith. Women are diverse. Women are multifaceted. Women are unique. And they might be hewn from the same solid foundation, but for a specialized purpose. And so you can't just look in the Bible and find one woman that becomes the example for all women. You look at Deborah. Deborah was called to be a political and a military leader, and she was. Esther was a beauty queen. Priscilla was a theological instructor. Mary was a mother and a homemaker. You got different women that were different things in the scriptures. You got to find who you are and remove the pieces that are not you, so that the real image of who you are will emerge. It's amazing. Just be who God has called you to be and who God has equipped you to be, because you have to let go of whatever is in your hand if you intend to multiply. You have to let it go. You have to let it go. Turn it loose. The reason that people don't turn loose stuff is because they're afraid that they're going to lose. So there is a capacity that you have to be able to loose without losing. And see, in our minds, that if I turn it loose, I'm going to lose. If I give you 50 cents, I'm going to lose 50 cents. No. If I lose 50 cents, I'm turning it loose, but maybe I can get back $2. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. St. John chapter 12, verse 24, Jesus said there, he says, verily I tell you, unless a kernel of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains only a single seed. But if it dies, it produces many seeds. It's singular until you let it go. It doesn't have the potential to be even multiply until you turn it loose. And my question to you is, what do you need to turn loose? What do you need to turn loose? Is it a limiting thought pattern, a philosophy? Is it a wrong ideology? What do you need to turn loose that may be hindering your life? It's always so easy to identify what you need to do in order to change your life, but it's hard to accept what you need to let go of, what you need to uproot out of the soil of your life so that you become free and then fertile once again. And see, remember, here's the principle. You have to give up in order to go up. You have to give up before you can go up. It's a simple principle of life. You have to give up before you can go up. What are you willing to give up in order to go up? If you want to go up in your academics, you got to give up some of your free time. If you want to go up on your job and become a specialist and get paid more for the hour, you've got to add more value to yourself that you bring to the hour. But you have to be willing to give up some social time. You got to be willing to give up some leisure time. You got to be willing to give up some sleep time. What are you willing to give up so that you can go up? You got to turn loose. It's amazing how many people in Scripture were able to loose things before God brought them up, and they loosed it without losing. I mean, Job lost 10 children. He lost his 10 children without losing his commitment to God. You can lose stuff without losing. He lost 10 of his children, all 10 of his children, without losing his commitment to God. He lost his wealth without losing his worship. He said, naked came I into the world, and naked am I going to go out. Blessed be the name of the Lord. He lost his health without losing his hope. What are you willing to turn loose and realize that you still don't have to lose? He lost his popularity with his friends without losing his patience. You think of Joseph. Joseph lost his family without losing his favor. He still had the favor of God. He lost his home without losing his honor. He lost his position without losing his prophetic promise. You can let go of stuff without losing. And here's the deal. I know that we don't like to feel that you're going to have problems in this life, but you will have trials in this world. Jesus told us that. In this world, you will have tribulation. You're going to go through some stuff. You can be nice, you can be sweet to people, you can treat people with kindness, and somebody's going to be nasty to you. I mean, you can give them the best, you can love people with your whole heart, and then they'll still do wrong and cheat on you. You can give it your best, and you're going to have trials. He said, in this world, you will have tribulation. He gave it not as a hint, he gave it as a promise. You're going to have trouble in this world. Can anybody testify to say that you done been through a little something, something? I don't care how nice you are, how sweet you are to people, how cute you are. You know cute people have trouble too. You don't get an exempt card just because you're cute. You get problems on a whole nother level. I'm just telling you, you can have money, you're still going to have issues. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you are, it doesn't matter how your physicality, it doesn't matter your mentality, your emotional intelligence, it doesn't matter any of these things. You're going to deal with some issues in this world. But I want you to understand this. Trials are intended to do some things. Trials are intended to make us think. If you never had a trial, you never start thinking. They're intended to make us think. They're intended to wean us from the world. Sometimes God had to let you have trouble to bring you behind out the world. He has to let you have trials sometimes to send us to the Bible. And sometimes he lets you have trials to be able to drive you to your knees. Just think about that. Trials are intended to make us think, to wean us from the world, to send us to the Bible, and to drive us to our knees. God uses trouble. Even if he didn't send it, he uses it. Everything is either God sent or God used. God will even use tragedy to bring some good out, to strengthen you, to strengthen your resolve in him, to bring your joy back. God will help you to be able to transcend stuff that used to get you down. And he wanted to bring a spirit of transcension in your life to help you get over what was getting you down. But here's the thing that I caution you, that when you have hard trials, don't let hard trials harden your heart. Don't let hard trials harden your heart. And I want you to think about this. There are at least 3 gifts that you gain from hardships. At least 3 gifts. Number 1, you get greater insight to what makes you tick. You really do. You don't know what you're made of until you go through some trouble. You don't know what you're capable of and what you're made of. Greater self-awareness means that you'll be better equipped to make better choices next time. So you get greater insight into what makes you tick. Number 2, you get increased compassion for others. Until you have hardship, you don't care anything about other people. Until you've been sick, now you know how to treat other folk when they're sick. Until you've been broke and without not having enough money to be able to eat or sleep or pay your rent and pay your car note, until you've been that way, you don't have compassion for other folks. So it gives us increased compassion for others, increased humility, increased sympathy. It means that you'll support others more readily. And then a 3rd gift that you gain from hardship is resilience. Resilience. Surviving means that you'll be stronger and more flexible and better able to tackle new challenges. Resilient. They can throw you their best shot. And it might take you a little minute to recover, but you're resilient. It means you come back. I'm looking at a bunch of comeback kids today who are resilient because you've been through hell and high water, but you're still here. You came back. And sometimes when you're going through stuff, you don't feel like you're going to make it. You don't know whether I'm going to live through this or die, have a nervous breakdown. You don't know what's going to happen. But I'm looking at some resilient people that's been able to spring back from stuff that took you down to the ground. And here's just a few things that you need to turn loose so that you don't ultimately lose. Turn loose without losing. You have to turn loose your pride. Pride. You know why? Because pride is the strength of sin. Pride is the strength of sin. The only reason that some people don't change is because they're too stubborn because of their pride. Now, you can be wrong and then just scared to even admit to people that you're wrong because of pride. You know, a woman just used to, before we had GPSs, men would just be driving, the wife would be like, honey, are you sure you know that we're going the right way? Why don't you pull over and stop at the service station when we come up to one? I know where I got this. And the stubbornness of his pride wouldn't even let him pull over and stop and ask somebody. And then after 45 minutes out of the way. It's just nothing but pride. Turn loose your pride. Pride is the strength of sin. It's the strength of sin. I mean, to change your life, you have to admit what's not working. And the only reason people won't admit it is because of pride. You have to humble yourself. You have to ask for help. You have to learn, and you have to be able to accept it. It takes humility to do that. Pride is the strength of sin. You have to turn loose pride. Number two, you have to turn loose emotional crutches. You have to turn loose emotional crutches. Because staying small and being afraid and remaining controlled and refusing to take action are all symptomatic of not wanting to lose that which is familiar, and not wanting to lose what is known, and not wanting to lose what is dependable. You have to let go of your emotional crutches. If you've been hurt, you have crutches that help you until you heal. But somehow, we're afraid to put our full weight back on something when you've been using a crutch because we're afraid it's going to hurt us. Because you don't trust that the healing is full. And you know that there's some soreness that's there, and we're afraid to turn loose our emotional crutches. But until you turn loose your emotional crutches, you won't rebuild your muscles. And you have to be willing to make yourself unstable. You know, if you got some issues going on in your back, you know, sometimes they'll put you in a destabilizing situation. Have you ever seen one of those big exercise balls and they put you on there? You're unstable. And it's there to help strengthen your core. And they got you on a ball and you feel really, really unstable, but it's trying to strengthen weak areas. And see, so you have to remove the emotional crutches. Number three, you have to remove hedonism. Hedonism. You know, that's where you just, hedonism says, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. It's just pleasuring your flesh. It's just the aggrandizement of the flesh, just hedonistic. But let me say this to you. Pleasures will never make us whole. Let me say that again. Pleasures will never make us whole. Pleasures will never make us whole. Because if a man is using sex and pornography in order to feel good, it will never make him whole. If a woman is using drugs or alcohol to help her through difficult things, it'll never make her whole. Pleasures never make you whole. Pleasures never make you whole. Hedonism. You have to turn loose hedonism, where you're just living for feel-good experiences. Number four, the comfort zone. Same type of idea. Same type of idea. Roy Bennett said that the comfort zone is a psychological state in which one feels familiar, safe, at ease, and secure. And you never change your life until you step out of your comfort zone. Change begins at the end of your comfort zone. You have to turn loose your comfort zone. You have to get up and make yourself uncomfortable. One of the worst traps in the world, the worst prisons, is a comfort zone. It's making yourself easy. Anything that takes effort. Effort, change always requires effort. Requires effort, effort. And if you're in a comfort zone, you don't want to change. Turn loose your comfort zone. When you get ready to grow, when you get ready to go back to school, when you get ready to become more certified, more skilled, you got to get uncomfortable. You have to get uncomfortable. Turn loose the comfort zone. Number five, turn loose your need for revenge. Let him do me like that. I'll show him. I will key his car. I will flatten every tire. Turn loose your need for revenge. Turn loose your need for revenge. Chris Jamie said that grudges are for those who insist that they are owed something. Forgiveness, however, it is for those who are substantial enough to move on. You got to be willing to say, I'm letting go of this. Whether they ever apologize to me and ask for forgiveness or not, I'm letting go of this, because if I hold, revenge in them, I've got to stay down on the ground in order to hold them down. You have to turn loose your need for revenge. Number six, you have to turn loose your need for obeying your inner demons. Obeying your inner demons. Because we have to be able to overcome our darkest impulses. It's not just a matter of overcoming them. It is a matter of being able to hear them loudly and choose otherwise. Are you listening? You don't ever get rid of your inner demons. It's a matter of being able to hear them loudly and choose otherwise. Just remember, whenever your inner demons are talking to you, Gary, you know you ain't had none in a long time. Whenever your inner demons are talking to you, man, that's a bad woman you in. Woman, you turn this down, man. You don't know. Ain't nobody gonna find out. Whenever your inner demons are talking to you, you still have the power to choose otherwise. Your inner demons don't have the power of choice for you. You still hold the power of choice. Lay your hands on your chest. So I still have the power of choice. Your demons can tell you they can tell you drink some more, get drunk, stoned, smoke it, hit it again. Come on, it's legal over here. Go to Colorado, plan your vacation. They can present you the choice, but you still have control to say otherwise. That I choose, as for me and my house, I choose to obey God. I hear you, demon, loud and clear. I hear you. I know what you're saying. I ain't stupid. I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Moses chose rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. Sin is always seasonal. It'll only last for a minute, then you feel terrible the next day. It's only for a season. 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 I mean, how much pleasure is that honey bun really going to give you? Is the Krispy Kreme really going to give you? It's only for a season. On the lips and then on the hips. It's only for a season. Listen, you have the power of choice. You have the power of choice. Turn it loose. You got the power of choice, obeying your inner demons. I couldn't resist. I guess something came all over me. You have the power to choose otherwise, no matter how loud the demons are talking. No matter how loud the demons are talking. No matter how loud the demons are talking, because you know there's a way that appears unto man to be right, but the end thereof is destruction. In other words, it leads straight to hell. And I don't care whether the demons are saying right this way, come right this way to hell. No, to hell with you, demons. You go. And I do mean that in the King James sense. You have the power to choose. You have the power to choose. Number 7, your need for certainty. Turn loose your need for certainty. Because I'm going to do it, but I want to be certain that this is going to work. When you wait until you're certain, you're too late. Your need for certainty. Certainty is an illusion of the highest form, because there's nothing guaranteed in life. I want certainty. I want certainty because I'm going to put my money in this investment. Certainty, if you're waiting for absolute certainty, you're going to be too late. I want to make certain that this is the one. By the time that you make certain that that one is the one, the real one might have passed you by. Certainty. And I just want you to realize this, that sometimes your success is not based on what you do, but what you stop doing. What do you need to turn loose? What do you need to stop doing? 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 You know, in Exodus chapter 18, Moses sat from the morning to the evening listening to the problems of the people and then rendering his judgment. And he was visited by his father-in-law, Jethro, who happened to be the priest of Midian. And he told Moses, he says, Moses, and some of this was a bit self-interest. It was a bit of self-interest because remember, Moses is married to his daughter. And he's like, you know, Moses, you ain't a husband you're not worth your salt, Moses. You got my daughter and my grandchildren over there at home by themselves while you're behind is standing over here trying to be a savior to 3 million people. Sitting all day listening to the issue. And he says, listen, Moses, let me give you a strategy here. He said, I want you to get some men and make them over 1,000 based on their capacity, and others over hundreds and others over 50s. And let them, and he says, then you reserve your time and energy so that you only have to deal with the hard cases that they can't handle. Moses was a control freak. And God had to use the priest of Midian, Jethro, his father-in-law, to say, Moses, what you're doing is not good. Turn it loose. Because you're micromanaging something that you can empower others to do and be free. And you need to turn this loose so you can get back some of your time. Turn this loose and you'll make your whole life and world more effective. And he says, I want you to find men that are capable, honest, God-fearing, and integrous who hate bribes. You find men with those kind of qualities and then put them over that. You don't have to be that. You're not the only one, Moses. Make others. You know, sometimes people just want to be the king and they think the highest position in the world is to be the king. No, the highest position in the world is not to be the king. The highest position in the world is to be the king maker. It's to be the king maker. Because kings come and go. But the next one who's going to make the next king who's coming in, it's being the king maker. It's being the king maker. It's being the king maker. And that's why if somebody has made the king and you know that you've helped them to get on the throne because you prepared them and you trained them and you motivated them and you encouraged them to be able to get into this place, it's better than being the king themselves because you've been the king maker. And if you can make one king, you know how to make another one. And so just think, every parent you got before you, kings and queens, there is a king in every kid, and there's a kid in every king. As a king, I don't ever intend to lose the kid in me. When you lose your kid, you get old. There's a king in every kid that needs to grow up. But there is a kid in every king that needs to be acknowledged and allowed expression because it keeps a youthfulness and a vivaciousness in your spirit. There's a queen in every little girl. And there's a kid in every queen. And you don't ever want to lose each other. You learn to respect each other. So, I mean, if you're ever doubtful that there's a king in every kid, go to the convalescent home. It's just like a daycare with kindergartners. They're in diapers too. And they say some of the silliest things that make you laugh. Don't ever lose your ability to laugh. Never let the kid in you die. And never let the king in you or the queen in you lie dormant. You rise, let them rise, let them rise. I love children, and all progress involves learning. All progress involves learning. Most people don't have a problem remembering, they have a problem forgetting. We don't have a remembering problem, we have a forgetting problem. And when you look at children, children teach us something. Children teach us to be happy for no reason. You ever seen children that just be just happy for no reason? A child doesn't need a reason to be happy. Children will be happy for no reason. Always busy doing something. You notice children, I mean, when they're awake, some of them, as soon as they get up, when their feet hit the floor, they're going all day long. You getting ready to ride a long ride. You may as well prepare yourself. Children teach us to be always busy doing something. Children teach us how to demand with all of our might that which we desire. You have some unrelenting children that teach us, don't just because your mama said no. Some children know how to wear mama down. Baby, didn't I tell you? Baby, didn't I? You're not going to get any cookies, right? Baby, you tell Now here, you ain't going to get but one. Children know how to demand with all of our might that which they desire. And they teach us how to let go of bad feelings and not hold grudges. I love that about children. 1 Corinthians 14:20 says, brothers and sisters, don't be like children in the way you think. He says, well, be babies when it comes to evil, but be adults in your thinking. Be adults in your thinking. Look at somebody else, tell them, say, lose the attitude, lose the attitude. Lose the attitude. Just lose the attitude. Lose the attitude. See, that's a wonderful childlike quality. They're just like children. And let me just tell you this. You start loosing, and if you don't want to lose, you got to always watch the enemy, because the devil attacks us through two things: dilution and pollution. Dilution is about adding to us to water us down and to reduce our effectiveness. Pollution is about adding to us to make us toxic. He either dilutes you or pollutes you. And so whatever the devil really wants to get to you. He's going to come to try. If he can't destroy you, he's going to distract you through dilution or pollution. And so it's time for us to turn loose some stuff and realize God has called us to turn loose the world. In 1 Peter 2:9, you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that you should show forth the praises of him who has called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Lose the darkness. Lose the darkness. Lose the darkness. I love the way that the old-fashioned telephone booths used to operate. It's amazing. Some of you are old enough to remember an old telephone booth that you could get in, and it had a sort of an accordion kind of a door. And it had a big, thick telephone book and a metal cord attached to it. Anybody remember that? And where at a time you could use a dime and make a telephone call, and then inflation hit and it went up to a quarter. You remember that? But the way that telephone booth reminds me of the world, that you had to get in the telephone booth. And there was sometimes, I remember one time specifically, it was dusk and I was looking up a number, and I'm standing there under the street lights, and I had the door open so that I could get the light from the street lights to shine down on the book, and the book couldn't go that far. And an old man walked by, and he said these words to me. He said, "Son, if you get in and shut the door all the way, a light will come on." And that's the way that Christianity is. When you get in Jesus, you can never fully evaluate the power of the gospel from the outside. You got to get all the way in and shut the door to every opportunity and every false philosophy. You got to renounce it. You got to shut the door, and a light will come on. I declare to you, there's a light that is waiting to shine down into your life in a fresh and a new way. Turn loose all of the things that hinder you from becoming who and what God has called and ordained for you to be. And you'll watch the glorious light of the gospel of Jesus Christ shining into your soul. And once he shines into you, God will shine through you. He shines on you, and then he shines in you, and then he shines through you. And this is why he says, let your light so shine that folks will see your good works and then glorify the Father who is in heaven.
Thank you for watching Power for Living with Bishop Dale C. Bronner. Join us again next time for Power for Living, where revelation is power. Power for living.